Hello, I am the Food and welcome to the Food's YouTube channel review. Today's review is on regular ordinary Swedish mealtime, and not ordinary regular Swedish mealtime like I used to think it was called, but it's not. It's regular ordinary Swedish mealtime. This channel is a cooking show that takes a lot of inspiration from epic mealtime, but in my opinion it improves it. I've watched some epic mealtimes, they're good, but Swedish mealtime is epic mealtime turned up to 11. They also do some behind the scenes and bloopers, but I don't recommend them because it kind of takes you out. The show itself is kind of a bit crazy enough as it is. You don't need the mistakes. It kind of breaks the fourth wall too much. I'm usually someone that loves bloopers and behind the scenes stuff, but for this one particular thing I think it does more harm than good. The main show itself, the cooking show, is very entertaining. It's freaking crazy actually, if anything. It's good for teaching you Swedish. I have learned lots of Swedish foods by this show. I'm actually studying Swedish, but this show helped me pick up the food because I like quoting things and crazy things, and this show is very quotable and is good for you. Also, when you see the way they throw around the food, you may never believe me on this, but the food's nice. My wife is Swedish and she cooks a lot of this Swedish food, and it tastes very nice. I can't possibly comment on their versions, of course, but I highly recommend a lot of these food. Now, bad things is, if you don't like people playing with food, don't watch it. Playing with food is a bit of an understatement with what they do. They kind of like throwing around food, and there's a lot of it. The other bad thing is, if you don't like people screaming, you're not going to like it. Again, screaming, a bit of an understatement. Lots of yelling. Time for my recommended videos. First I had a podcast thing. It was only a one-off, and it was to celebrate the Swedish National Day. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but during this podcast they had a vote for what we do next thing. The winner was Terra Tacos. I highly recommend that one. Yes, the food isn't necessarily Swedish style, but it's funny. Next, Killa Kalops. Kalops is kind of a Swedish stew. One of my favourites of my wife that makes. And again, the video is funny. And finally, Chop Chop Carnage Stew. Now this is the one that gave birth to my favourite quote of the series. You gotta be gentle. Not to mention, the reason why they came up with it was because it was moose meat. Moose meat's frickin' expensive, trust me. Okay, for regular ordinary Swedish mealtime, I give it a 8 out of 10. It's very funny, very entertaining, it's a lot of wasteful food, but it's good, very good. It's good for you, and for me. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, please like, favourite and subscribe, and if you have any other YouTube channels you want me to review, put it down in the comments. I am the Food. Thanks for listening.